Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal that's supposed to be restricted in jewelry for people under the age of 15. CBC Marketplace conducted its own investigation, asking 12-year-old girls to buy the jewelry they liked and then putting those items to the test. The results were, in some cases, jaw-dropping. David Common joins us now to tell us more about this. David's on assignment in very chilly Fredericton today. Thanks for joining us. So let's start with getting a sense, first of all, of explaining how toxic is cadmium.
Well, it can be a danger to your kidneys, to your liver, to your brain, nervous system, reproductive system, but particularly if you put it in your mouth or you swallow it. And that's where the biggest danger is considered, because it is something that kids often do. You know, we hear about kids swallowing small earrings or costume jewelry, that kind of thing, Jennifer.
Well, so when you took those samples of the jewelry to be tested, just how much cadmium was found?
You know, so the way we did it is we actually got a bunch of 12-year-old girls. We said, go into a store, any store you like, and buy stuff you're interested in. They came back with stuff. We tested it all. We only found cadmium in 2 retailers, Aldo and Ardennes. And one blue pendant that goes on a necklace from Ardennes was actually 99.6% cadmium. That's many thousands of times what Health Canada would consider the recommended maximum for jewelry marketed at kids under the age of 15.
So, David, there are rules then in place concerning things like cadmium in our jewelry?
Yeah, absolutely they are, but it's not all of our jewelry. It is just jewelry marketed at kids under the age of 15. Now, the Europeans and some other countries take a different approach. They just limit the amount of cadmium to next to nothing in all jewelry, adult, kids, whatever. In Canada, Health Canada, the regulator has said, you know, we're going to target where we see the greatest risk of someone putting something inside their mouth or swallowing it, and that is kids under the age of 15. And so there are, the guidelines don't actually affect things that might not fall under that definition of marketed to kids under the age of 15.
Okay, so if it is so toxic, you have to wonder, why is it even being used to make this jewelry?
Yeah, and so to answer that question, we went to where costume jewelry is made, and that is in China. In fact, 60% of the jewelry that comes into Canada made in one city. It's called Yiwu. You can go to a number of factories there. We went to a good one, and they showed us that they actually test both their raw materials coming in and their product going out. So they have a lab right there on site. You can go to China and you can buy good quality, safe stuff. But also in China, you can go to places we went to, back alley factory run by peasant farmers. They got a cadmium delivery while we were there. And then they were quite open and said, of course we use cadmium. It's cheaper than zinc or aluminum, the stuff you would normally use. You can melt it more easily, which means you could put it into those molds as you're turning it into the jewelry itself. They don't even know half the time who the end customer is.
So good to know. And as we mentioned, the jewelry containing cadmium you found at 2 pretty popular retailers in Canada. You'd find in most malls, I would guess, in this country. What are they saying in response to what you discovered?
Yeah, absolutely. So we went to both Aldo and Ardennes and shared our findings with them. Aldo said, we're concerned by this. We're going to investigate what we should do differently. And in the meantime, they vowed they would pull the items off the shelves. Ardennes did not make that promise. I don't know if those items are still on their shelves. They may well still be. But they all did say that they would investigate. Now, Health Canada also said they would send investigators to both Aldo and Ardennes. But it's partly to answer that question, who's this jewelry marketed at? Is it falling under those guidelines? Though Health Canada did tell us if they consider it a danger to human health, they have other tools, they have other ways of getting it off shelves.
I'm sure this investigation will have parents looking through their kids' jewelry boxes, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us on this.
Thank you. You
can see more of David's investigation tonight on CBC Television. That's at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in Newfoundland.